Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids and we are going into our 11th year homeschooling. I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified of all of my future videos. Today I am going to be going through my fall refresh with you in my Power Sheets. So the Power Sheets, if you do not know, is a goal planner, and I've used this for many years and I really love it. It has helped me achieve so many things. So today I am going to be going through my fall refresh, and I know it is just the start of September. And this actually, if you have the Power Sheets, it is behind the October tab. So October is typically when you do the fall refresh. October, November, December are the fall months, and so typically that is when you would do the fall refresh. However, for me, I really look at fall as September, October, November, and December is just kind of its own animal. I do not consider it the same as all of my other months in my goal planner because it's usually very busy, and I'm also starting to think ahead to the following year during the month of December. So I don't plan a whole lot for December as far as goals, mainly because I try not to put too much stuff down so that I am able to accomplish what I can. So I do my summer refresh early, and even my spring refresh is usually a little bit earlier as well. Kids are going back to school. We homeschool, but we have started our regular homeschool year at this point, and so I'm thinking about all of those obligations going into the months ahead. But the first thing that I do with the fall refresh is I go back and look at what my yearly goals were. And I also want to see what I have accomplished throughout the year. Now, obviously, at the end of the year, you do kind of a yearly wrap up in the Power Sheets and you're thinking ahead to the next year. But the reason that I go through my goals right at the beginning of the fall refresh is just to sort of see how I'm doing. It's kind of a check-in to see what has worked for me and what hasn't. And so what I do is I grab my little Cultivate What Matters notebook. These are just little line notebooks. I just think they're cute. So I do a big brain dump at, in December, January, when I'm setting up my new Power Sheets. And this is really to just write out all of the things I want to do in the coming year. And so I don't spend a whole lot of time looking at this list throughout the weeks and months. I do refer to it occasionally, but it's mainly just for me to get everything down that I'm hoping to accomplish within a year. And if you watched my weekly vlog that I posted earlier this week, I did talk a lot about working on my fall refresh and how good I feel about my goals this year. And I know that a lot of people have struggled with their goals this year. And in years past, I have really struggled with my goals. This year, I think part of why I feel so successful is because I was not nearly as, I did not put a lot of really big reach goals on my list because I wanted to sit down and evaluate the amount of time that I knew that I would have and to see what was most important to me to accomplish throughout this year. And I definitely cut back on a lot of things. I did have a few really big things that I wanted to work on, mainly my life-giving home goal, life-giving homeschool, awesome adulting, and then growing Townsend House. I do have a few other just goals that were on my list for this year as well, but those goals are not necessarily time-bound goals, which I know if you follow any sort of SMART goals guru, they will tell you that it has to be specific, measurable, attainable. What is R? Realistic, maybe, and time-bound. I'm not Not good with the acronyms right now. So my goals are not necessarily time-bound goals. Within each month, I do have monthly action items that are time-bound, but my overarching goals for the year are a little bit different. They're more lifestyle that you. I always give the example of my faith. I want to grow my faith every year. That is not something that I will ever be finished with. It's the same as creating a life-giving home. It is something that I will continue to work on every year, and every season is different. And as your kids grow up and different activities and things going on in your life, all of that ends up adjusting your goal as you go along. So I went through my goals, I went through my little list, and I had accomplished about 90% of what I had hoped to accomplish this year so far. And that was very validating for me. I was happy with the progress that I've made, knowing that I am making progress, even though it may not look like a huge leaps and bounds. I am still making incremental progress, and I'm really pleased with how things are going. So that is the first thing that I do, is I go back and look at my goals, especially for the fall refresh. I feel like in the spring, they're still so new that I'm not necessarily thinking, because I'm already having a list of things that I think that I'm going to accomplish in the first 6 months or so. So anyways, let's get to the actual fall refresh. So in the fall refresh, the first thing is the Cultivated Life Evaluation Check-in. This has several different areas. This does not mean that you have to have goals in each of these areas. This is more just a wellness check-in if you're looking at the 8 areas of wellness and making sure that you are in a good place. It does not mean that you have to have goals. So it is just kind of a brief update on how you're feeling in the moment about these different areas. And so the areas are health, your spouse or focal relationship, friends, family, finances, work, spiritual or personal growth, or spiritual and personal growth, and then recreation. And so you go through, and I have done this, and I'm feeling pretty good about how things are going in all of these areas. And it could be, I said this in my summer refresh, that I wasn't having any struggles with my goals. I felt really good, and I thought, oh, maybe it's all the vitamin D that I've been getting. I've been pretty happy lately, and that is nice. I'm outside a lot, in the sun, just enjoying the beautiful weather in Maine that we've been having, and that obviously that contributes to my good mood. So if you're having a really bad day and you're trying to fill this out, you may think more pessimistically about some of these items. And I have had those months in the past when I have gone through this list and I have been having a bad day and I think that everything is really bad. If that's you, I would encourage you to take a step back and just maybe try in a couple days to see if your mood changes and you're able to evaluate these things in a little bit more positive light. Not that if you are having if you're in a season of struggle and you see that all of these areas are a struggle, that is okay. It's good to journal about it and just make sure that you are aware of why you do not feel good about these different categories. So definitely list things out. But for me, I have been feeling extremely positive this year. I hope it continues as the light goes away. I definitely have seasonal, when it gets really dark really early in Maine, it's harder, but I have been working on that for several years. And so right now I am at a good place and I'm very happy with how things have been going. So I did give myself good grades. I'm not going to go through this because it's very personal and individual, but you essentially will give yourself a number grade from 1 to 10 on how you're feeling about that area. And then you have a little bit of space to jot down a couple of sentences or bullet points about what's going well and the challenge, and then the challenges that you're having in that area. And I always recommend that you do put a couple of challenges. It's so funny because when I worked in corporate America, we would do reviews, and they would always have you give yourself a review, and you'd always have to come up with your own challenges, or they would always want to give you challenges that you need to work on, which I did not like in the corporate environment. But when I'm evaluating myself individually away from any outside pressure, I do think that that's a good thing. So I think it's mainly because I just don't like people telling me that I should do something. I'm not very good about that. Then on the next page, it's different for each seasonal refresh in the power sheets. This month it says, try this at home, want to unhurry your life, spend more time in the analog world. On their own, our phones are neutral tools and they can be a wonderful way to connect, learn, and get inspired. But we've never seen anyone write, spend more time on Instagram on her power sheets. Putting your phone down frees up more time for working towards your goals, for what matters most. And then they give you 29 productive things to try this quarter in place of checking your phone. Now, I have some very strict guidelines with my phone, partly because I'm a homeschool mom, and partly because I do have an online business. So when we are in our homeschooling block, when I am fully focused on homeschooling, my phone is not near me. It is on Do Not Disturb. I don't pick it up to check in with my Facebook group or check emails or approve posts or do anything of that nature. I have separate work hours where I do that. Through the summer and stuff, even though we're year-round homeschoolers, I work a little bit more, but once we get into September, I have specific blocks of time where I do not have my phone. And also at night, I don't really use my phone. I use my Kindle and I do reading at night. I'm not, I think this comes from my rebel personality. If you know about Gretchen Rubin's Four Tendencies, I am a rebel, and so I'm less inclined to think that I need to post everything on Instagram, which is unfortunate because I do run an online business. But I'm just not as interested in that kind of stuff. I mainly use it for information. If I'm researching something for my own Facebook group, or if I am looking for suggestions on books or something like that, then I will go through, or I like to keep updated on some of my very close friends and family. But overall, I don't feel that pull that I know a lot of people do feel. I'm more inclined to read a book if I want to pick up something. And I do that on my phone, but usually I use my Kindle because I sleep better if I'm not using my phone at night. So some of the ideas: unsubscribe from promotional emails, which I really need to do that. I definitely need to do that. It's like, I don't know how I have subscribed to so many emails, things that I've never even heard of before I get emails from. Plan a coffee date with a friend, delete photos from your camera roll. I probably ought to do that. Go to bed early, take a walk, write a thank you note, clear off your bedside table, write out a social media mission statement. That's really good if you do struggle with boundaries with social media. Having some parameters around when you use social media and what you use it for is always a good thing in my book. Mail your child's artwork to their grandparents. Make your bed. I try to make my bed most mornings already. Choose 10 pieces of clothing to donate, read a book, my favorite thing. Call your best friend, stretch, yoga with Adrienne. I've mentioned it before. She has some really quick practices and breathing exercises that are really good to recenter yourself. I definitely recommend that. Update your budget. Oh, that is actually, I think that is on my September goals, which that's not today's video, but it is it is coming. Make a treat for your neighbor, clean out your pantry, pull books to donate or give to a friend. That's a hard one for me. I have a really hard time getting rid of books. Choose outfits for the week. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I kind of have like a uniform, like was it Steve Jobs just wore the same outfit every day? I kind of do that. I have like a couple of pairs of pants that are really comfortable, and I mainly wear tank tops, and then in the winter, sweatshirts or cardigans, because I just don't want to think about it, and I am home most of the time, so there's that. Let's see. Unload the dishwasher, choose one new recipe to try, print a few of your favorite photos to display, reach out to a new friend, doodle or color, reply to 5 emails in your inbox, prep your meals for the week, clean out your junk drawer, organize your desk, make an inspiring playlist. Those are all really good ideas to get off of your phone. Like I said, I don't struggle as much with that because the 2 main things that I prefer to do when I have downtime are listen to music and read books. Those are my 2 big things that I really, really love. And I would choose to do those things over most other things like cleaning and laundry and washing the floors. You know, pretty much I would rather do reading and listening to music. And then it has a place for people you are grateful for this month. I think that going into the fall, it's a perfect time to start like a thankfulness list with your family. You can put affirmations or little things that you notice about your kids and put them in a jar throughout the coming months, and then read them as you get closer to Thanksgiving. Those are some things that we really enjoy doing. And then also sending out cards to friends that have made an impact on your life in the fall, I think is a nice thing. I mean, it's nice to send cards anytime. You know, don't you enjoy getting mail that is not a bill? I certainly do. So, so that is another thing, but taking note of who has been helping you or who you are grateful for in your life right now is always a way to cheer yourself up, I think. So the next list, I have some notes of other things that I'm planning on. This next list is keep moving forward. And this is what I was talking about when I talked about the goals that you feel stuck on back in the summer refresh. It says, what goal do you feel stuck on? What is holding you back from moving forward? What would have to change for you to move forward on this goal? And what might happen if you did move forward? What might happen if you didn't? Now, like I said earlier, I am feeling really good about the progress on my goals. But in the past, I definitely have had some struggles, especially in my earlier years of using the power sheets, because when I started, I've always been a planner and a goal planner. I love writing goals at the beginning of the year. They've never been resolutions. They've always been, you know, action items that I want to do to make progress on this overarching goal. So in past years, I have listed so much stuff that I do not physically have the amount of time that I need to accomplish those things. And that can be really defeating, especially if you have so many things that you want to work on. It's hard to go through that little by little progress and know that that is okay. It's okay to make big strides in some seasons and then little teeny baby steps in other seasons. So this year I was really aware of the amount of time that I had to put towards the goals. I don't plan it out. There is, let me see, in the Power Sheets, there are these blank calendars that you can use for planning out your time of when you want to do your goals. I don't use that, and it's mainly because I do not really plan out, oh, I have 2 hours of time here that I can work on my goal. I have 2 hours of time here that I can work on my goal. Usually when I'm doing my weekly planning, I will know based on the amount of homeschool that we have to do, if we have outside activities, appointments, activities on the weekends, things that we're doing, I am able to look at that broad weekly schedule and know what I will have time to work on. And I kind of have come to that through having a planning day each month where I look at the month ahead and I have everything on the calendar so that I'm always kind of aware of the amount of time that I have. I spent a good bit of time several years ago doing time inventories and really assessing the amount of time certain tasks take for me. And so I'm able to manage my time better now because I have spent so much time looking at ways to make myself and my my homeschool and my business, everything as efficient as it can be. Does that mean that every week is super efficient and I have am working on my goals and all of that downtime? That is not the case at all. There are some times, in fact, this past weekend, I had a day set aside where I was going to sit down and do some videos and some work for my blog and update some stuff for my main homeschool network Facebook group. And instead, I watched a movie with my daughter, read a book, and sat outside and just enjoyed being outside. It was much nicer, and it's okay to give yourself some downtime once in a while. I don't really have any goals where I feel super stuck at the moment, so I have left this blank. Like I said, I have accomplished most of the stuff that I had planned to this year. The main things that I'm still working on are some of those awesome adulting tasks that I thought I would get to earlier in the year, but I did not. And so that's kind of going to be my focus for the next few months. Things like writing a will and checking on life insurance and getting all of my appointments for the year scheduled and then actually going to those appointments, getting blood work done, things that are not fun or exciting, but still need to be done. Things like updating budgets, things like looking ahead to 2022 financial planning and financial goals, long-term goals, wrapping up the year for business, etc. That kind of stuff is always on the list. Not as much fun to get to, but it does need to get done. And so I do pair that with fun things. I tend to have this delayed gratification reaction. So I need to get my house clean before I can sit down and read a book. Like if my husband takes the kids and they go to the lake to swim, and to give me some time for myself, I end up washing the floor, dusting the baseboards, trying to get a bunch of little things done that are a little bit more difficult to do in the everyday because I do have the kids at home with me all the time. And then once I get all of that stuff done, then I feel like I can sit down to have some leisure. So I do have those fun things on my list. But I've mainly been doing the fun things. I've been spending an exorbitant amount of time reading this year, especially late at night. Less lately because we are back in our school schedule, and so I need to wake up earlier. So I can't stay up until 2 a.m. reading books, even though sometimes I'd like to. So I don't have anything here, but this is a great place to sort of flesh out where you think you might be hitting a a block? Is it due to the amount of time that you have? Is it due to not having the money to put into a specific thing that you want to do? Is it fear that's holding you back, that you're afraid to go out, and try something new? So whatever it is, you can use these questions however you want. I don't have anything here, but in this other section, I do have some things. My fall bucket list ideas. I'm not a big bucket list person, but I should have put fall tradition ideas, because these are things that we do every year. We go to the fair, apple picking, camping, decorating for Halloween, which is fun. Lucy's birthday is right around Halloween, so she always has a fun time decorating the house, putting together a thankfulness tree. And then another thing that I thought about doing was like cinnamon roll Saturday. My husband, when everything was shut down and we weren't going to church, he would do a big breakfast on Sunday morning. He would make French toast and bacon, and it was something fun for the kids. But now that we're going to church again, they really are upset that they're not doing that. So trying to find some other thing that my husband can do with the kids on the weekend. And then I have a list of fall to-dos that I just have to do, like garden cleanup. I want to plant garlic, get the garage situated, which is not a me thing, it's a Matt thing, and that it's hard for us to get on the same page with that. I need to go through all of our medicine and vitamins and make sure that I have thrown away anything that is expired, and updated things that we need more of, like the kids' vitamins and such. Freezer and fridge clean out, which I like to do in the fall before I start putting preserved foods away. I like to preserve tomatoes and peppers and onions, and things that we just use in the winter months. Zucchini, I shred a lot of zucchini for soups and zucchini bread in the winter. Getting the fall and winter CSAs situated, tires, car inspections, that kind of stuff. So I just make like a brain dump list of things that I need to do, so that I am able to look at the fall as a whole and see when I can sort of put some of those things in. And then it says, craving stillness and focus, define why being present matters to you and remind yourself of it often. Write it down and perhaps picture it visually. An inspiration board is great for this. Then set a hard boundary when you commit to being fully present. It might be in the hour after your kids arrive home from school, or the 30 minutes when you sit down to dinner or breakfast. Making a commitment is the first step in keeping it. And that just kind of goes back to the boundaries around certain things. We have Sundays set aside as our Sabbath, and I work really hard. It has slipped a lot over the past year, but I work really hard to have phones at a minimum, screens at a minimum, and until later in the afternoon. I like to spend more time as a family, and not as much work stuff. I try not to do work for me on that day. I don't do a lot of cleaning on Sundays, just like the general things that we need to do. My husband doesn't do as much yard work and stuff, so we try to keep it as more of like a family day where we're together. Now, that doesn't mean, when I say no screens, I don't mean we don't watch a family movie, because we do that, and we're also big football people. So going into the fall, football season is starting, so we do watch a lot of football on Sunday afternoons and evenings. But I mean, everybody going into their own section of the house to be on a screen and not be together as a family. If we want to watch a movie as a family, that's fine. If we want to watch football as a family, that's fine. But I don't want everybody just kind of going off on their own. That's just a personal thing. So we have set boundaries around certain things, and it is what works for us. You have to figure out what works best for your family. And then the next page is my refreshed goals, and this gives you an opportunity to write new goals if you want to do new goals, or if you have accomplished one of your goals earlier in the year, or you have found that maybe some of your goals that you thought of at the beginning of the year, this season of your life has changed so that you're not able to really work on that anymore. This is a great place to update all of those goals. And so I don't have all of my goals on here. My main goals for the fall are create a life-giving home still, create a life-giving homeschool, growing Townsend House, awesome adulting, creative hospitality, and continue to grow my faith. And so some of these are creative hospitality and continuing to grow my faith are more routine based at this point. I try and check in with my friends either through Facebook Messenger or texting, inviting people over for like an outside play date, or just reaching out and saying, how are you doing? I try and do that pretty regularly now. So it's not something that I have like a monthly action item or a weekly or a daily habit. It's just something that's kind of ingrained in me at this point. So but I like to put it on here. It's just a good reminder. And then continue to grow my faith. I'm always striving to grow my faith, and I just want to continue the rhythms that I have created for that. That's just what it is. And then after the refreshed goals, there are these action plan pages. And so there's 8 little action plan sections for if you have 8 goals, or mine are actually, I have a couple actions for create a life-giving home. It just depends on what you're working on, whether you have action plans or not. There are 8 sections, and this is a feature that I'm so happy that they have now with the seasonal refresh, because I think that it was definitely needed. So the first one that I have is create a life-giving home is my yearly goal. My mini goal is traditions, and the traditions are things that we always do in the fall, the things that I was talking about before, like going to the fair, apple picking, thankfulness tree, getting ready for Christmas, all of those things, focusing on those things. This is our second fall in our new home. We're still kind of at a place where we're not able to go out as much. We were going out a lot more, but now it's kind of tapered back a little bit. So create a fall list of traditions, which I've kind of already done. Plan ahead for Thanksgiving and Christmas. This is something that I do try to do every year. Some years I am successful and some years I'm not successful. Some years I'm successful with some things, and then others I'm just not great at. But if I can prepare as much before December comes, I am much happier going through December. Does it always work that way? No, because it's hard to think about, well, what do we want to do for presents this year? And yeah, so then the fair, apple picking, preserving food. And then I do have another yearly goal of create a life-giving home, and my mini goal is prep for winter. And a lot of that is like food inventory, food preservation, decluttering, again, taking stock of what we need for the kids for the winter, if they need boots, coats, snow pants, all of those types of things. I need to start figuring out what they need, what clothes they need for the winter, etc. Taking stock of the seeds that I have, fridge and freezer clean out, pantry. I really want to redo my pantry and add some more shelving and just get that organized. It is not organized. It's very not organized. And then I have create a life-giving homeschool. My mini goal is rhythms and routines. This has been a goal of mine, a mini goal of mine several times throughout the year. And that's because we do run our homeschool year seasonally. And so each season brings different rhythms and routines and needs for my kids. So I want to continue to reassess rhythms monthly. monthly conferences, Monday meetings, field trips, and trying to figure out how our homeschool schedule will work with the public school music schedule, which is a huge challenge for me because we are in and out of the house so much, and trying to work all of our other school around that. So it does take us a little bit of time. It's also part of why we start so early, so that we are into a good rhythm of our academic subjects, so that by the time we get to when the public school starts, we know the amount of time it takes for all of the other subjects to be done, and we're able to sort of figure out how to manage all of that time and still be efficient. It's a challenge, but it's something that it needs to be done. And then my awesome adulting, which I did already talk about a little bit, doctor's appointments, meds and vitamins for winter, stocking natural remedies. I do a lot of, throat coat tea and elderberry syrup and apple cider vinegar. And I'd like to make fire cider this year. I don't know if you've seen that, recipes for that. And then a will, life insurance, redoing my filing cabinet, thinking about budget and the must-buy items that we need by the end of the year. Things like the kids stuff, and then like winter tires and all of that fun stuff, pellets for the pellet stove. It's just a large list of things. And then on the next two are Grow Townsend House, content, figuring out how to get on a good schedule for putting content together. The way that I do it now is not really very efficient. I kind of just record a video when I'm able to and then edit it as quickly as I can to try and get up. I've been a lot better at having like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. I'm not sure if that will continue as I go into more school stuff in the fall. We'll see. It's a challenge. It really is a challenge to try and get all of the things done that I am interested in getting done. And I do have to be super realistic about my time. And my kids always do come first, making sure that their school is done and they are getting all that they need from me is much more important than my time on my business or my Facebook group or all of those other things, the videos and such. So if I can figure out a way to just get things done a little bit more in advance, that would be helpful. Our weekends are very full and our weeks are very full now that we're doing school. So there isn't a whole lot of time for me to like batch a bunch of videos. So that is kind of the whole of my fall refresh. I hope it was helpful for you. I know that when I watch other people talk about their goals, it is always encouraging to me and it gives me new ideas of things that I may want to work on in the future or ways to manage my time so that I'm able to do a little bit more. But I am really looking forward to fall. Fall is my favorite season. Moving into the holidays, it's just such a nice, it's beautiful in Maine with the weather and the leaves changing color and, back to more baked goods. I love to bake, apple muffins and stews and soups. It's just, I enjoy that kind of stuff. Making sure that I'm preserving foods for the winter and all of that stuff. It's a lot of fun for me. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to share this video if you know somebody that is working on goals. If you have any questions about anything that I talked about, certainly leave them in the comments and I will see you in the next video. Thanks guys. Bye.